one, I can't so clearly identify that it is a giggle, necessarily.
To me, it sounded like it was saying something, but I can't make out what it says. Brendan thought that it might be a giggle.
Yeah, let's all listen one more time. What is that in between? That could be a giggle. I mean, as easily as anything else. It's indiscernible to me what that is.
But he says high at the end.
Yes, clearly a second high. So it was high, something, high. And it really does sound like a child's voice, doesn't it?
Yes. Sounds like the same little child.
And there was, to be completely clear, there was no child in the house.
There was definitely no child in the house.
We never allow children with us.
As a matter, for what reason?
Well, you would not be able to tell if it was a child present or a ghost child if you recorded a voice, for one thing.
Yeah.
And on top of that, children, are obviously scared of this, and we don't want to scare people with this.
Well, you do a really good job. You're doing a job on me. So, I mean, you know that this scares people. How could this not scare people?
Well, I mean, if it was me, this would be comforting. I mean, as weird as that sounds, this would be comforting to me if I was questioning, if there was anything on the other side.
Okay. Number 6.
All right. Well, this one, I was in the basement with the homeowner again, and you'll hear the voice. It's the child's voice again at the very beginning of the clip, and you hear the child say, "You, Daddy." And then next you will hear the homeowner say, "Now you've been recording for the voices." And he's talking to me. He's asking, "So you've been recording for the voices?" And then I kind of say, "Mm-hmm."
Okay, but the child's voice is "You, Daddy," huh?
Yeah, and it's almost like the child's referring to the homeowner.
Okay, here we go.
Now, you've been recording for the voices?
That's "You, Daddy." "You, Daddy." I mean, you can clearly hear "You, Daddy." That would imply, I wonder what, "You, Daddy," that the child thinks of this man as dad, or that the child might be communicating with, in fact, its father.
Now, that's possible, too.
And you just picked that up.
And that could be the man that he has seen in the house.
But it also may explain some of the attachment that this child has to the homeowner. It may explain why the child has followed him to his house, because I honestly believe it was at one of the funeral homes that this man has visited.
Well, if it is a child, and this child is trapped in this plane, and this child is trapped with a funeral home director, what steps does the GIS take, or do you ever take, or have you thought of taking? I mean, this is so sad in some ways that you want this child to move on rather than being trapped in this plane, if that's the case. Have you ever called anybody? I mean, I don't know, a priest or somebody to try and assist this spirit of this child to move on?
No, but there have been occasions when we have told them that they don't have to stay here. There was an occasion at one old run-down theater that's been torn down since, but that had a lot of ghost activity in it, a lot of children's voices we recorded, some that we've played on your shows. And there was one particular night I told them that they do not have to stay here. There's no reason for them to be in this building.
Right.
They can go on.
All right, let's move to number 7. Again, same house, same.
Yes.
What have we got here?
On this one, you'll hear the homeowner say, "Oh, really?" And you'll hear this voice say, "You don't have to tell me."
And here we go.
Oh, really?
You don't have to tell me. I think that's what I heard. You don't have to tell me. Is that what it was?
Oh, really?
You don't have to tell me. That's exactly what it sounds like, isn't it? You don't have to tell me. Some voices are clearer than other voices, aren't they?
Correct.
This one sounded like it was a little distance from the microphone to me.
Yes. But again, how is this being imprinted on the hard drive? Is it through the microphone? If you run a hard drive without a microphone, do you ever get EVPs?
I don't know. This one does have external mic with it.
I understand.
But it also has an internal mic. I guess the only way would be to somehow cut the mic and find out if anything recorded afterwards.
Have you ever just run tapes without the benefit of a microphone over the years?
Well, actually, we did a couple of times and never received any results with it.
But that would... Depends on what kind of microphone it is. That would imply that it's being imprinted upon the microphone itself.
That's true.
In some way. And you never received anything minus a mic, huh?
That's correct. We never did.
All right, on to number 8.
All right. This voice is interesting. Because when I heard it, I was noticeably shaken by it. I couldn't believe that I did record it. The story that goes along with it is rather interesting, too.
Sure.
We walked into the house, and we had been conducting the investigation. This is the same house for probably the last 40 to 50 minutes. And everybody in the GIS and the homeowners were upstairs. I decided to go downstairs by myself into the main level of the house. And I walked into their living room area, which as soon as you walk in, on the wall is a giant mirror. And that was the first thing that caught my eye, was this mirror. If you look into it, you see the kitchen, which is directly behind you. It's almost in the same room.
Right.
Well, I walk in there, and I'm looking around doing my thing, asking, is anyone here? Can you please talk with me? And that kind of thing.
Sure.
I look up into the mirror. This is the second time I look at the mirror. And I swear I see a kid run behind me in the kitchen.
Oh.
Directly behind me. Now,
yes.
The interesting thing is, the kitchen has no doors whatsoever. And the second I saw it, I knew something wasn't right. I mean, I tried so hard to rationalize this, but I couldn't. And the other thing that bothered me is, it happened pretty quick, but I realized when I looked at the kid, I only saw him probably from the shoulders up because he was so small, that his neck was on sideways. I mean, his head was actually on sideways.
Oh, brother.
I mean, his chin was on, he was running forward, but his head was facing towards me. His chin was almost on the back of his shoulder. I mean, his neck didn't look like it should be that way at all.
Shades of The Exorcist. Shades of The Exorcist.
Well, and actually, that's the only thing I can compare it to is that scene in The Exorcist where the head moves around.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. I mean, it's...
Oh, well, gee, that sounds cheery. All right, and so number 8 here is what?
All right, well, what you're going to hear is me say, is anyone here? And then there'll be a slight pause. And then a voice comes in, and it's a child's voice saying either I'm game or I'm Gabe. And at that time, that's right when I saw this thing in the mirror. And right after that, you'll hear me say, no way, because I'm trying to rationalize it, saying there's no way I just saw that. And then you hear the kid laughing.
Oh my, here we go.
Is anyone here? No way.